Hello all, this is Keertana, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce. Today I am here to present a lecture series on the subject Statistics for Social Research on the topic Correlation Analysis. So first we can see what is business statistics. So business statistics is a branch of applied statistics that focuses on the collection, analysis, interpretation, presentation of data relevant to business operations and decision making. In today's dynamic and competitive environment, business generate and rely on large volume of data. Business statistics helps to convert this raw data into meaningful information, supporting evidence-based decisions and long-term strategic planning. So, the meaning of business statistics lies in its ability to provide a structured approach to understand business trend, customer behavior, market dynamics, and financial performance. By applying statistical tools such as average, percentage, graph, regression, and forecasting methods, it becomes easier for managers and decision makers to interpret complex data and draw logical conclusions. So we can see what is correlation analysis. So correlation in the sense, correlation coefficient are used to assess the strength of association between data variables. The most common called is Pearson correlation coefficient, which is familiar, measures the strength and direction of a linear relationship between two variables. Values always range from -1 for a perfectly inverse or negative relationship to 1 for a perfectly positive relationship. So if you face a negative, the value will be -1. So if you face a positive correlation, the answer will be +1. So values at or close to 0 indicate no linear relationship or a very weak relation. So the coefficient values required to signal a meaningful association depend on the application. The statistical significance of a correlation can be calculated from the correlation coefficient and the number of data points in the sample, assuming a normal population of distribution. So first, we have seen the meaning of business statistics, and next is you have understood about correlation analysis. Now we can see how to find the correlation coefficient. So, first is correlation is used almost everywhere in statistics. Correction illustrates the relationship between two or more variables. It is expressed in form of a number that is known as correlation coefficient. There are mainly three types of correlations. So you may have the graphs there. First one is perfect positive, second one is perfect negative, and third one is zero conclusion. That is zero correlation. So if correlation will be positive, the value of one variable increases linearly with an increase in another variable is indicates a similar relationship between both variables. So it is a correlation coefficient would be positive or 1 in this case. So we have seen prior, right? One positive in the sense the value will be +1. So next is negative correlation. So when there is a decrease in the values of one variable with an increase in the valuables of another variable, in that case correlation of coefficient would be negative. So if the values is negative, there will be an -1. So in third situation, that is zero correlation or no correlation. There is one more situation when there is no specific relationship between two variables. So we have three listed there. One is positive, negative, and zero correlation. So which is positive in the sense the value will be +1. So there will be an increase in one value. So there will be a relationship between both the variables. If the negative variable if the negative correlation increases, the value will be decreased with another variable, then automatically the correlation will be negative. The value will be -1. So next is zero correlation or no correlation, where the situation will be there is a no specific relationship between both the variables. So also apart from this, we'll give some ideas about correlation. First one is we have three types of correlations. One is direction of relationship, direction of variables, and direction of linearity. So first one is based on the relationship, we have three, that is positive, negative, and zero correlation. To get an easy understanding, we'll give an example for a positive correlation, height and weight. So if height increases, weight will be also tends to increase. So there will be in same direction. So the value will be positive. If there is a negative, the variables will be in opposite direction. That is, for example, price and demand. If price increases, demand usually decreases. So next is zero correlation, when there is no different relationship between variables. For example, shoe size and intelligence. So is there any changes or any variable relationship? No, because there is a zero correlation. So next is based on number of variables. So first we have three listed three, right? One is relationship, variable and linearity. So while coming to variables, there is two types: simple correlation and multiple correlation. So in simple correlation, we have so in simple correlation, we have two variables only, which is income and expenditure. But in multiple correlation, there will be more than two variables. For example, sales related to advertising, income and population. So this is the multiple correlation. So reminded, simple correlation involves only two variables. Multiple correlation involves more than two variables. So next is based on linearity. So third criteria, one is linear correlation and second one is non-linear correlation. So in linear correlation, there will be a proportional variable, that is one way change in one variable is proportional to the change in another. So here the relationship will be in straight, because one variable is proportional, so another one will be also changed to this proportional value. But in non-linear correlation, the change in variables is not consistent, because the graph forms a curve. So there will be an ups and downs in the non-linear correlation. But in a linear correlation, there will be a straight line, so there will be no changes in the variables. Hope you have understood this concept. So we'll conclude the session. Correlation analysis is a fundamental statistical tool used to measure the degree and direction of the relationship between two or more variables. So it helps researchers, economists, and decision makers to understand how variables are connected, whether positively, negatively, or zero. Although correlation indicates the strength of an association, it does not imply the causation. Understanding the types, calculation methods, interpretations of correlation enhances data analysis and aids in making informed decisions. Therefore, mastering correlation analysis is essential for any study involving relationship between quantitative variables. So actually in statistics meaning itself, we have seen statistics also helps with average, percentage, graph, regression and forecasting methods to make an easy decision for managers, decision makers to interpret the data set and logical reasons. So in correlation, we have seen the concept like predicted values and actual values in a statistical experiment. But the statistics is not only used for mathematicians, also can be used for economists, researchers, and whomsoever. So next is how to find the correlation coefficient. So in this we have seen the three types. One is perfect, second one is negative, and third one is zero. So we have three types. So in positive correlation, our variables will be on upside. In negative correlation, our variables will be on downside. In zero correlation or no correlation, the variables will be scattered. Hope the video was useful and easily understood the concept. Thank you.